What's up, y'all? Today I'll be breaking down my top virtual address picks for the year, and we'll also be touching on some of the benefits of virtual addresses, and then I'll show you how to choose the right options no matter where you go. So stay tuned. Now, the big benefits. When it comes to you actually having a virtual address, for me, the biggest benefit has always been keeping your actual address private. A lot of people do not know, and I always try to touch on this whenever I shoot videos related to starting a business or creating an LLC. A lot of people don't know that your address that you put on those forms are public, especially if you, for example, you decide to incorporate your business and you use your home address as an office location. It will be on paperwork kept at your Secretary of State, and people can look that up. It's public record. They'll even depend, especially nowadays, I know it's done in Texas. I can literally from my computer be able to pull up your corporation's documents and see where you incorporated and be able to see the actual home address and everything. So for me, one of the biggest benefits is just even that, you're able to keep your address private, right? It's great for security as well. And again, that's a mistake I made, especially whenever I first started. And I realized that, anything can happen, right? You can, especially whenever you're listing your address like that, you never know, someone might try to Google your business and think that, hey, this is where I need to send my returns, even though you might have maybe you work with a third-party fulfillment center if you're selling physical products or whatever the case may be. You'll start getting things shipped to your house, whatever the case may be. You never want maybe someone to pull up to your house because they're angry at you for something. Who knows? Nowadays in the world, things, people can be crazy, and you don't want to put yourself in that type of situation. Another thing is just the professionalism. Having a more professional looking building as opposed to your house. If people Google search your business, that's the address that pops up. It lends to you being a more professional business. Nobody wants to do business with someone that looks like they're running their business out of their house, right? More times than not. Even though depending on the type of business you're running, maybe that's the vibe you're going for. But if you're trying to run a business where you want to show professionalism, it doesn't look good if someone Google searches your business and then finds your home address and they search that home address, and on Google Street View is literally like a house in a neighborhood. It would be much better for you to be able to get a professional looking building, leveraging one of the companies that we'll touch down below, especially if you're going to be working from home or you don't have a set or an actual office space or office building. Another thing that I always touch on is building business credit. It's kind of that same aspect. They're actually going to look up the address that you give them. If you're telling them that you're running your business out of your house, that's not going to lend to them as like a stable business, right? If you're a stable business, they're going to think in their head, you're a stable business. Why don't you have some sort of office location or some sort of office presence? Even with how everything's changing, especially after the pandemic and everything, and the fact that a lot of people are working from home, it still lends to you having at least one office location. So that's why I look at these virtual office addresses as something great for you to have for your business. Instead of you actually getting an office location and paying hundreds of dollars per month, if not thousands, depending on where your office location is, you can now pay a fraction of that cost and be able to have a business location. So what my process would be is this. I would first sign up for a virtual address first. I'll include some of, again, my top picks. We're going to touch on those. I'll include some of my top picks in the description, but we're also going to be touching on them here in this video. And next, once I actually have a virtual office address, then I would be doing my government paperwork that I need to fill out in order for me to be able to actually get my LLC. Because what's going to happen is whenever you sign up for the virtual office address, they'll send you some paperwork to fill out. That way they can actually handle your mail just for, that's federal law. You want to fill that out. You can still fill it out with your personal information if you want, because obviously it's kind of like they're going to be that first shield or first line of defense for you. But you want to fill that out afterwards once you've created your LLC as well. That way they can start taking your LLC, any mail that your LLC receives. So all I'm really saying is that you want to follow a step of first getting a virtual address, then setting up your LLC. Now, when it comes to actual virtual office addresses, I really only have two options that I really recommend, the two that I found work the best. First is Alliance Virtual Offices. Pretty much all of their office locations are literally just that. Offices, right? And so they have over 1,000 locations all over the US. And some of the features you'll see is they have live receptionist services if you want to leverage that. They offer virtual phone numbers. They have meeting room booking. So what is cool about it is, even though that you just use them for an address, if you need to book meeting room space, you'll see that they actually give you the option to book meeting room space. So if you got to have, you can't meet over Zoom or anything like that. For example, you need to meet face to face and you want a professional place to do it, you can actually book through them meeting room space. That way you can actually have a conference room or something that you can have a meeting in. Now they also have co-working spaces, and of course have mail receipt, so they can receive your mail and they can forward it to another address if you need them to. That way you don't have to constantly go there to pick up your mail. Now in terms of pricing, they start as low as $50 a month, which I think is a crazy benefit considering the fact that if you had office space, you would be paying minimum a couple hundred if you're in kind of like maybe more suburban area or even more rundown type of commercial office space. But easily this thing could get into the thousands of dollars depending on if you're a more metropolitan city and you're trying to buy in kind of like the center of the city or whatever the case may be. So I'll link to them down below. You can check out, their plans. They're constantly adding more features and services. So I'll just go ahead and link to them down below so you can actually go to their website yourself and check it out. Also, I'm a partner with both of these companies now. They actually incentivize me, not for me a commission, if you decide to purchase at no expense to you. So that's another way that you can actually support my work and support the channel to help us to just be able to release content for you. Now, one caveat I will say with these guys is it's just depending on what plan that you may actually pick, you might be required to agree to stick around for a certain amount of time. Let's say, for example, 6 months. I'm not sure if they do 3 months. I think it was just 6 months to maybe a year, depending on what area you choose to actually get your address, what area you actually get your virtual address in. Now, the second option is going to be Anytime Mailbox. Now, they're another virtual address company that allows you to list them as your official address. I think they're great for, home-based businesses looking to be more professional and not list their home address. And again, all the other topics I missed, right? Security, good for business credit, things like that, but also great for maybe Amazon FBA businesses. Now that you actually need to show an address for your Amazon listings. They have over 1,600 locations. They're actually in over 25 countries, and they can go as low as $5 per month. But there's a huge but there, right? The locations that you would need are going to be a lot higher price, or I should say a bit higher price, and they will probably have to spend pretty much about the same as you would pay for Alliance virtual offices, okay? So you're gonna see the prices is gonna be pretty much the same. They typically partner with local businesses and mail centers, and the issue is you wanna make sure that you do not use a mail center. You wanna make sure that you're only using their actual office locations. I shot a video on it, talking a little bit more about it, and that whenever you're looking at a specific address, you wanna Google search the address and look at Google Street View to make sure that it's an actual office location and it's not a mail center. Okay, because you don't want to use the mail centers. Now, other features they have is they give you real street addresses. You get the mail and package forwarding. They even have an open and scan mail feature where they can open the mail if you want them to and then scan your PDF, so on and so forth. Pretty much the usual what you see with most of these virtual office addresses, okay? So that's pretty much the gist of it. I think one of these two companies will more than likely be able to help you get exactly what you're looking for in terms of an office address. And these are the best ones that I found so far, okay? So if you're interested in learning more about where to find other critical parts of your business, check out my video on how to actually set up your LLC in 20 minutes for free. I touch on pretty much everything that you need to know, including how to set up a professional email, a professional phone, a professional bank account, and more. So be sure that you check that out. I'll try to link to it here somewhere around, as well as I'll link it to it down in the description, okay? So I hope that helps. Let me know what else I could help you with in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Alrighty, so that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you later.